Welcome to this free immigration help channel. In this video, I wanted to talk about the process after you become documentarily qualified. Now, on this channel, I do get quite a lot of comments about this particular issue, and people are wondering, once you are done with the NVC portal, once you are finally documentarily qualified, which is a huge milestone to accomplish. Once you are done with that, what to expect after that? What is the process? What is happening? What will happen? And I'll try to cover this in this video. And you can see I have a visa bulletin open in front of you, because in some situations you will be referring back to visa bulletin. If you have never been referring to it before, if you're an immediate relative, then you won't have to, but again, I will try to break this down in this video. Before I begin though, I'm going to mention I am not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information provided in this video on this channel directly from official government sources like USCIS. As you can see, I have that one open in front of me, and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start from the very beginning. You're a petitioner or a beneficiary. You are involved in family reunification process, right? There is an I-130 petition that was filed, and you're part of it. Okay, so it is submitted to USCIS. That's the very first step. All the documents were submitted. Then the petition was approved by USCIS. Then USCIS transferred the case to the NVC. Maybe you had to wait for the NVC portal to open up. Graph B on the visa bulletin. We'll talk about it in a little bit, briefly. NVC portal opened up. Maybe you didn't have to wait for it to open up, but it's opened up. You submitted all the documents. You paid all the fees. You submitted your affidavit of support, the DS-260. Everything has been reviewed, and you have received the email or mail from NVC saying that's it. You are documentarily qualified. What is the next step? So there are two things that are left for you, really. It's the medical examination and then the interview itself for the immigrant visa, for the I-551 stamp in your passport, which is the immigrant visa. And as soon as you enter with that immigrant visa, once you enter the United States, it converts to a temporary permanent resident card. I know it's a little bit of contradicting temporary permanent, but basically until you get your actual physical permanent resident card in the mail, that I-551 stamp after the entry into the United States, it serves as a permanent resident card, a temporary permanent resident card. So, two things: medical examination and then the actual interview for the immigrant visa. Now, the medical examination, I get a lot of questions about that. Basically, that is done after the interview is scheduled. And the interview is scheduled in, I would say 99%, there's always exceptions. There's always, extraordinary circumstances where things are a little bit different. But in most of the cases, the interview is scheduled. You get the notification of the interview 30 days before the actual interview. So for example, let's say if you are documentarily qualified right now and you're waiting for your interview to be scheduled. Let's say you have your interview scheduled for December 1st. You will not get the notice that the interview has been scheduled until around November 1st, 30 days. 30 days before December 1st. That's when you will get your notice. And it is especially done so that you can do your medical examination within 30 days. Now here I'm gonna recommend really quick before I forget, make sure to get your medical done as soon as possible. The sooner you get, as soon as you get your interview notice, schedule that medical examination within a few days and go and take care of this. The reason why you want to do that is because it does take some time for the civil surgeon, the physician that is authorized to perform these medical examinations for immigration purposes, to send the documents to the U.S. Embassy, so that when you go for your interview, U.S. Embassy have already received all these documents. You definitely want to make sure that they have had enough time to send the documents and receive the documents. I actually seen a case where the medical examination was done like 5 days before the interview, and when the person went for the interview, the interviewer at the U.S. Embassy, they said that, well, we have not received the documents yet, so they had to reschedule the interview. So you definitely don't want that. So make sure you do it as soon as possible. And there is also another conversation that is happening that, Department of Homeland Security, they're planning to extend that 30-day time frame to 6 months, which would be really, really nice, really nice. But we will see if that happens. That's just a talk for now. But let's get back to actually working with the visa bulletin and seeing if you do need to pay attention to it or not. So like I have said, if you are in immediate relative category, which is spouses and children under 21 of US citizen, parents of US citizen, that is immediate relative category. All right, these people are in immediate relative category. If you are in immediate relative category, then you are not dealing with the visa bulletin at all, because visa bulletin is only for the family preference categories that have to wait for their immigrant visa to become available. They have to wait for their NVC portal to open up. As immediate relative, you don't have to wait. So once your USCIS petition is approved, that's it, the NVC portal is open. Once you're documentarily qualified, well, in fact, once your USCIS petition is approved, that's it, your immigrant visa is pretty much available. You just need to be documentarily qualified, go through the medical, go through the interview, and just go and get it. All right, that's, it's pretty fast. Still takes time because there's administrative processing. You're looking at 1.5 2 years. That's normal for a whole thing to happen. But if you are in one of the family preference categories, and if you are, then you are already familiar, unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens over 21, all right, spouses and children, unmarried sons and daughters of permanent residents, married sons and daughters of U.S. citizens, brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens. These people, these are the family preference categories that unfortunately are the ones that are dealing with the visa backlog. So there is this, backlog of visa availability, and people are waiting. So, and if you are part of it, you're already familiar with it. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of times you are already documentarily qualified and your interview is not scheduled. It's not scheduled for 6 months, it's not scheduled the whole year, and it's not scheduled 1.5 years, and it's not scheduled, and you're like, what's going on? Well, I'm already documentarily qualified. What is happening? Well, what might be the case if you are especially not an immediate relative but in one of the 4 family preference categories is that your priority date is just not current yet. And the way to check it is through visa bulletin. Now, this is September 2023 visa bulletin. October 2023 should be coming out in the next few days, and once it comes out, I will make a separate video where I discuss basically comparing it to the previous months and seeing the movement. But once you are documentarily qualified, you only need to look at the graph A. Graph A is what shows the availability of the immigrant visa. Graph B is for the NVC portal opening up, and then the graph A shows the availability of the immigrant visa. So, for example, let's say you are in F1 category, right? You are an unmarried son over 21 of a US citizen, okay? And you are already documentarily qualified, and that's it. You're just really waiting for your interview to be scheduled, but it hasn't been scheduled for a long time, and you have been documentarily qualified since like a year ago, so you're wondering what's going on. And your priority date, let's say January 2016, right? January 2016 is when your I-130 petition was filed with USCIS. That's when it was accepted by USCIS. Okay, so if we look at the graph A, right? And let's say you're in all chargeability, which is the rest of the world, not in China, not India, Mexico, Philippines. If you are, you look at the corresponding column, obviously. But we're going to look at F1, all chargeability. And as you can see right now, the priority date is January 2015. That's the priority date for people with this priority date. The immigrant visas are just now becoming available as of September 2023. So that means that if your priority date is in January 2016, it means that you will be waiting at least another year for the availability of the immigrant visa. And again, this is rough estimates with the visa bulletin, because things might speed up, the next month, it might progress 3 months, or the next month it might not move at all, or it might retrogress 3 months. It's all. That's why it's very important to stay on top of the visa bulletin and constantly keep checking each month for updates for your category and seeing what is happening. But in this example, if your January 2016 priority date, looking at this, you can estimate that you're roughly waiting another year for the availability of the immigrant visa. And once your immigrant visa becomes available, that's when the US Embassy starts the scheduling of the interview. So you're looking at a year roughly, and then at least a few months for administrative processing for them to schedule the interview. So probably another year and a half you're looking at. So as you can see, it's very, very important to understand these dates, because a lot of times I get comments, I get questions from people on this channel, and they say, I was documentarily qualified. That's it. Where's my interview? It's been 2 years. Well, the reason most likely why you are waiting for so long is because your immigrant visa is not available just yet, because your priority date is not current. And that's where you can find your answers on the visa bulletin. Now, a little tip at the end of this video before I let you guys go. If you are in immediate relative category and it's been a long time, it's been a year, over a year, and your interview is still not scheduled, or if you are in one of the family preference categories and judging by the visa bulletin, you know that your immigrant visa is already available, but it has not been scheduled for a very long time, your interview has not been scheduled, and you're wondering what's going on, there's 2 things that you can do. You can submit an NVC public inquiry, and on this channel I do have a video on how to do that. It's very straightforward. You just do it through their website. It's most likely not going to do anything, all right? That's why I'm kind of like throw it out there really quickly, because most likely you will receive a boilerplate response that says, oh, you just wait, your immigrant visa is not available, or it's available but we're waiting for the US Embassy to schedule it. Nothing that you did not know already, okay? But the number 2 is actually sometimes works. Not all the time, sometimes. So it might work for you, it might not work for you, but what you can do is you can reach out to the US Embassy where you will be doing your interview, your local US Embassy in the country where you are. And you can tell them, you can say, hey, I'm in this family preference category, or I'm an immediate relative, and I'm already documentarily qualified and I have been waiting for over a year. I was wondering when my interview was scheduled for. Because if the immigrant visa is already available for you and you're already documentarily qualified, most likely the interview has already been scheduled. You just don't know it yet because it did not reach that 30 days before mark, that 30 days they give for the medical examination, basically. Now, to find the information on the US Embassy in your country, you just go to usembassy.gov, and it will give you the list of all of the embassies, US embassies around the world. Just click on the country. Man, let's say, if you are, let's say in Denmark, clicking on Denmark, and that should give us the US Embassy in Denmark. There you go, in Copenhagen, and already with a phone number. So just call up, be nice, be professional, as always whenever dealing with authorities. Don't be upset if they don't give you that information, if they just respond, no, we can't give you that information, because it's, again, at their courtesy. But like I said, for some people it does work sometimes, So if it does work for you, please come back to this channel and let us know in the comments below, let everyone know in the comments below that it worked for you. That would be great, because it's reassuring for people that, there are some things that they can do and get some questions answered. But that's it for today. If you have any questions about, anything said in this video, let me know in the comments below. I do Q&A videos on this channel. I try to do them every day, and they go by volume. So I will get hopefully to your comment, and we'll be able to answer that. So thank you very much for watching. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.